people? Paul's back. Figured I'd do a little video. I'll try to make a little series out of it because this is probably the most, one of the most often asked questions. Longevity, how do you service your vehicles so they last you a long time? Now, since I have the bragging rights, I want to brag about something way off subject. I became a father for the third time last Thursday. We got ourselves a baby Isaac in the family, and I couldn't be happier. I don't know, this kid really brings peace to my heart, and it's pretty cool, I guess. It's more than cool, it's fascinating, it's awesome. I don't know, man, I love kids. I love my baby Isaac, so now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna be telling everyone for the next, I don't know how many days, weeks, months, that, hey, I got me a baby Isaac. Anyways, back to business. For you boys out there that are concerned, and girls, that are concerned about long-term longevity of their vehicle, they want to keep their vehicles long-term, let's start with this, okay? Let's start with the simple basis that just because the fluid is warm, okay? Now, don't blow up here. Just because the fluid is warm does not mean that you're, let's just talk trucks for now since this is a truck channel. I've seen it in all aspects. I've seen it high performance. I've seen it in trucks. But anyways, just because your truck is warmed up does not mean it is ready to hit the throttle full. You know, you're ready to hit that go pedal fully in and nothing's going to happen. Or it's perfectly fine. It is not. And here's the instance that I see all the time. Guys come out, start their cars, start their trucks. They get in, they're nice and toasty, nice and warm. Their engine temps are good. What they're not realizing is their tranny temp is not good. Their differential temp is not good. Their engine temp is fine. Even there's a little bit of rotation that I'd like to see, you know, for the seals and everything else as far as engine. I'm talking globally, and you could have the best engine in the world, but if you grenade your tranny, you're not going anywhere, guys. Or, you know, your rear end. What's the problem here? The problem is people look at their coolant gauges like, you know, 180, 190, 200 Fahrenheit. Oh, dude, that's full operating temp. Let's go to town. And then, you know, they shorten the life of the rear end. They shorten the life of the transmission. You'd ask why? Because those fluids are not up to temp. Because those gears are not lubed. So, imagine the truck sat around forever. This guy warmed it up, put it in drive, and just freaking went to town. I mean, just went to town on the goosing it and everything. Yeah, it might not grenade there and then, but boy, are you shortening the life of your transmission and your rear end. So, keep that in mind, guys. Even on those situations, and I'm not saying that I never, you know, hit the skinny pedal or I never goose my truck. No, I let it have it, you know, but that's after the wheel, you know, the wheel's been spinning, after everything has been brought up to temp, and I underline everything has been brought up to temp. Not just your temp gauges, whatever your car or truck shows, like, oh, you know, all these, you know, essentials, oil's good, coolant's good, all right, you're good to go. No, that's just the engine. What about the rest of the supporting? So anyways, to make a long story short, guys, value your equipment. It's rough to bring up this analogy, but it's like a human being. You don't wake up in the morning, you know, yeah, you're full of energy. I don't know who's how, but, you know, us youngsters, I should say, are full of energy and we're ready to go, but we don't, you know, we won't be very happy about it if you wake us up in the morning, you know, oh, you got ready, you know, you're ready for a marathon and you take off. Yeah, you got energy, but your heart ain't gonna like that. You need to slow into it, you know. It's like you need to warm up to it. Going back to differentials, a lot of differentials are lubed from the oil flying off of the main gear. I'm losing my vocabs here, but anyways, the main gear often throws oil forward to the input shaft gear or bearing. So if you're standing still on the side of the road and your car's all warm up and you've been there for like 24 hours, you know, a lot of oil is drained. And 24 hours isn't that big a deal, guys. You know, park their equipment for longer and then they goose them. just think about that, you know, think about those things that other things depend on other things to be moved, to be lubricated, to be moved, to be adjusted. And what I mean by that is, you know, like your pinion gear, there's heat ranges, okay? You know, it's like your block. Yeah, you know, it's warm and everything, but get it operating. Keep that belt, keep them pistons moving up and down under a load for a little bit. So to close this topic, when is it safe to goose it? Based on the ambient temperature, and this is a rule of thumb, be sensitive about it, you know, it depends what you have. Like, for example, I have a truck that carries, I think, an extra quart or quart and a half, my rear diff, so that it's going to take a little longer to warm up. Also, I have good Schaefer synthetic fluid in there, so that shortens the process, meaning not of heating up, but a safety margin. So ambient temperature like today, it's 67 degrees outside. I wouldn't want to goose this truck any sooner than 5 minutes after I've taken off from my house or wherever I've taken off from a cold start, you know. Drove it around for 5 minutes, and doesn't mean like, oh, 5 minutes off, time to full throttle. No, I start laying into it slowly. Now, this is not to say that once you, let's say you pulled in somewhere, you know, you drove your truck and you pulled in for half an hour, and ambient temperature is 67, and then you take off again and like mysteriously all your fluids are drained. No, you're good to go. You don't get back in that truck, roll around for a couple minutes and go to town. If you shut that thing full operating temp for half an hour, nothing's going to happen at 67. Just, you know, get the fluids back up and running pretty much is what the key thing is. If the fluid's back up and running, meaning you're slowly, gradually cruising on down the road, and you understand, you know, fluids, metals, they all need to, most likely they'll be on the same page. Not a lot, but you get the idea here. So if your rear diff fluid is nice and toasty, well, the metals, the gears are too. So that kind of thing. Seals, you know, seals get dried out. So seals expand and contract a little, believe it or not. Those things like to be heated up as well. My buddy bought a Civic. I know it's way off subject, but I'm staying on this topic so you guys understand it. Way off subject as far as trucks go, but my buddy bought a Civic with really low miles on the clock, but the tranny seals were pissing like crazy. And he said, Paul, you have any idea what's going on here? And I looked around, it looks like someone had a hitch up front. I'm like, I bet you this thing was towed around behind an RV. So yeah, you know, the thing's rolling, the thing's creating heat, but it's barely creating heat because it's being pulled by another powered vehicle. So these seals, you know, they gotta hold a higher amount of fluid now, you know, being rotated in the transmission while the car's being pulled, but they're not heated, so they don't expand, they start leaking. So that was my theory of that. So on the topic of this, guys, treat your equipment well and it will treat you well. And what I mean by that, think of it like yourself, like I mentioned 5 minutes ago. When you wake up in the morning, you want to stretch, you want to, you know, have a nice little bite or a drink. I'm talking like some water or some liquids, and roll into your day. Don't be lazy. You know, I'm not telling you to never goose your equipment. I'm telling you, you know, when it's operating temp, I mean, the fluids on the engine, the fluids on the transmission, you know, on a really cold day, I'd say like 10-15 minutes, and then your rear end's good to go there, and just let it have it, you know, roll into it. Don't always goose it, but once in a while it's good for an engine to work at its maximum, at its optimal, and go from there, you know, and enjoy the thing. Shoot, if you're driving a high performance car, I highly advise you to be pretty consistent of opening up that throttle and letting that carbon out. You know, I have a V8 supercharged Mercedes, and that thing is a freaking pig. And what I mean by that is it just runs rich all the time, and it's good for the engine that I go out of town sometimes and let her have it. Because them tailpipes are always black. Not blue, not white, black. It just runs really rich. Anyways, y'all behave, have a mighty fine day, and I'll keep these maintenance videos coming. Finally, I think you guys are gonna hear from me my schedule for maintenance, my oils, and all that good stuff. All right, God bless you, and have a mighty fine day.